Mark Waid, Delilah S. Dawson, Dennis Culver, Freddie Williams II, and Jack Herbert assemble a suicide squad for Robin's last mission into the multiverse in a bid to take control of the Dark Army and stop Pariah's advance through the multiverse. Mark Waid, Delilah S. Dawson, and Dennis Culver deliver a kind of fun adventure through the multiverse during Dark Crisis that also shores up some of Joshua Williamson's previous plots regarding Justice League Incarnate. The Infinite Earths concept seemed too ripe for the picking for the tie-ins for this series, but so far no one's dared really touch them, barely getting into them like they do here, where we only get to go to one returning world and that's it, and that's barely getting there as well. The writers kind of use the characters to their advantage. They all have a specific role to play in this mission, and I enjoy that they aren't the usual Batman or Superman. They are all offshoots of those characters, and ones that we often just kind of see in the background of shots and never really get the spotlight that they are here. The book also brings in Red Canary, the character who was really quite talked up during the event when it begun, yet we're only seeing here now properly right near the end of the series, so it seems like maybe what they wanted to do with the character didn't happen or something. I'm not really sure what the whole deal with her is going to be going forward. The other strange choice was to make her the whipping boy of Robin. All of Robin's dialogue towards her throughout this entire issue was rather belittling for no real reason whatsoever besides that she's the newbie who doesn't have superpowers just like he doesn't. And all she wants to do is help out, something I would have assumed Robin would be somewhat sympathetic to, being that he was in that position before, as well as most of all of the other heroes on this team have been in that point one way or another. I did like that concept of each of the team members here being the quote-unquote newbie of their respective eras. Like Dr. Light is the newer version of the character created after the original Infinite Crisis. Power Girl was kind of a sort of replacement Supergirl from another Earth for a time, and Sideways was introduced as a type of Spider-Man analog back during Dark Days when they were doing all of that Spider-Man Fantastic Four analog sort of stuff. It's a cool idea, but the book never really explores it all too much or uses that idea to help Canary come into her own, and I would have really liked a scene between all these heroes where they tell her, yeah, we're all the newbies at one point or another. It does get easier, you just got to get through that first little bit before you're kind of accepted, but that never really happens. Freddie Williams and Jack Herbert provided two very distinct art styles for the issue that don't really gel well at all. I like the idea of different art styles for different Earths. We've seen it before and it's usually really great, and they're usually very complementing art styles, so there's no whiplash when you're traveling from one Earth to the next. But when you have Freddie's very distinct detailed cartoony art next to Jack's more realistic mature art, it doesn't really work all that well together. Both arts separately from one another looked fantastic and had some great action sequences, but when you're reading one page and it goes into the next artist, it's just really quite a bit of a tonal whiplash there for a minute. Dark Crisis, The Dark Army Issue 1 was a kinda cool adventure into the multiverse, yet it never utilised the full potential of that setting or what it wanted to do with the characters, letting some really neat ideas on new heroes coming into the fold languish in the background. I'm gonna give this issue a 6 out of 10. Dark Crisis, The Dark Army Issue 1 finds Damian Wayne fighting with his friends and family against the Dark Army that has invaded Earth-Zero. He finds despite the forces being vastly outskilled, their nobility cannot be questioned, and the heroes genuinely have hope that they can win the war, but hope isn't a plan. Damian tells John he knows what to do, telling his friend his strategy, but the hero says that his friends cannot abandon the fight. Damian tells Superman that it's for the greater good, and John gets that, but they have to give this fight their everything. Damian reminds John that he's fighting Doomsday, his worst nightmare, and can't possibly win against him, but John knows he must try since his father would. He tells Robin to take a smaller team as he can, wishing his friend good luck. Damian gets to work assembling his team, recruiting Sideways, Power Girl, and Dr. Light and himself. As the team head through Sideways' rift, a new hero in red gets in the way of a thrown truck. Damian tackles her out of the way and through the portal, landing with the team in a dark subway tunnel. Dr. Light brightens up the area as the woman reveals her name is Red Canary. Sideways tells the team that he took them where Robin told him to go, apologizing for the rough landing. Robin knows that they are exactly where they need to be, but won't say any more since the team are his muscle and he's the brains. Canary asks if he's always like this, and Power Girl explains it's usual for Robin to be this arrogant and secretive. Red Canary learns of the existence of other worlds, wondering if they are all destroyed like this one they're on is. Robin knows that they aren't, but they are headed in that direction. Canary finds this all crazy, but the others know that this is just another normal Thursday for them. Robin asks why she got involved in this fight, so the woman says that she wanted to help out, and with Black Canary gone, someone had to carry on the torch. Sideways is just happy not to be the new kid on the block anymore, learning Canary doesn't actually have any superpowers besides some stolen eskrima sticks and some jujitsu training. Robin considers her a liability as Dr. Light tells him that they are almost to the surface, revealing they're on Earth 53. Sideways notes that the Trinity statues in front of the Hall of Justice there are apes, as Dr. Light says that this is one of the infinite Earths that has returned thanks to Pariah and it's unstable. Robin activates the T-Watch he swiped from Mr. Terrific so they can find Pariah's chains for the Dark Army, as Canary feels like all of this isn't very superheroic and feels like more of the end of the existence of everything. Robin finds it difficult to believe that she got involved without powers, but Canary is quick to remind Robin that he doesn't have powers either, and if he belongs there, then so does she. Robin knows that she is untested and untrained, and one false move could be the downfall of the entire multiverse, but Canary thinks that it could also be its salvation. Robin just doesn't know that. Power Girl tells Dr. Light that Robin is being more like Robin than usual, and Dr. Light knows it's because he is scared, and he isn't telling them something important. As the team follow Robin's tracker, Sideways assures Canary that heroes aren't all jerks like Robin, and no one takes him seriously until they need a rift open. Some rubble soon blocks their way, and Power Girl and Dr. Light fly everyone over it towards one of Pariah's towers from the original Crisis. Power Girl remembers being hooked up to one of these like a battery. She and Robin try and work out how to interact with the tower, but Red Canary warns them of the living cloud above them. Power Girl knows that's the Shadow Demons, as Robin asks her to be taken to the top platform above them so he can save the multiverse. Power Girl takes him, telling Robin that Dr. Light will be needed to deal with the demons. Robin gets to work on the machine, finding a recording of an ape that says that they don't know where they came from and all the heroes are dead. Robin doesn't care, wanting to know how to reconnect the machine, but Power Girl tells him it's not her problem. Dr. Light and Red Canary and Sideways become surrounded by the Shadow Demons, but Dr. Light unleashes her power, obliterating the shadows in her bright light. Robin is impressed with Light's attack, glad he brought her along as he knows he's done with his calculations, finding the exact location of where they need to go to take control of the Dark Army from Pariah. Power Girl thinks that it's easier said than done with all of the demons, but they soon all fly away. Robin knows that often means something bad is happening, and soon he's proven right as a giant shadow being appears, attacking the team. Robin wants more power, wondering if they can plug Power Girl into the tower like before, but she refuses to go back inside since she's not a battery. Dr. Light gets an idea on what Red Canary told her earlier, telling Power Girl to hit her with her heat vision so she can absorb it and become more powerful. Dr. Light's enhanced power blows apart the giant as Sideways opens a rift and the team escape. The team find themselves amongst some rubble as Canary is relieved that there is no more Shadow Demons. Robin tells her to be quiet, making Power Girl stand up for her, telling Robin that the girl is older than he is, and once this is all over, they are going to have a long talk. Kara finds she can't see around the room as her X-ray vision is being kept at bay and all of the rooms are soundproof, meaning she can't hear outside of the room they are in. The team find a giant wrecked room above them as Dr. Light finds this place is familiar to her and Kara, almost like they've been here before. They soon realize they have as they are in the House of Heroes. Dr. Light recognizes the machinery that allowed Monitor to give her her powers. Robin finds a terminal and boots it up, finding the Harbinger AI is still operational and he can bring her online. Canary wonders if that's a good idea since it was shut down for a reason it seems. Robin thinks that he's got this all under control as Harbinger comes online, immediately telling the heroes to shut her down since they devoted her power to keeping the Dark Army locked out of the House of Heroes, and they cannot be allowed into the Orrery of Worlds. Robin tells her that the Dark Army isn't there anymore as there's a rumble deeper in the house. Harbinger tells them that the station's protectors have been compromised as out of the darkness comes the darkness-infected Justice League incarnate. Harbinger tells the heroes that they cannot be allowed into the Orrery since they will corrupt every multiverse at once if they touch it. Suddenly Sideways is bitten on the arm by Captain Carrot, but is saved by Power Girl. Robin notes how Carrot should have ripped Sideways in half, so they aren't operating at full power, just like the Dark Army isn't. Dr. Light blasts Thunderer, who recoils from her light-based attack, giving Robin an idea. Robin tells Dr. Light that only her powers are affecting the possessed heroes, wondering if the infected heroes can infect all of the worlds at once in the orrery. What if Dr. Light could do the same? Harbinger doesn't recommend that, since Dr. Light will be almost immediately crushed by the cosmic conceptual space inside of the orrery. Robin and Black Canary tell Dr. Light that they will try and hold the attackers off as Light heads for the orrery, connecting with it and all of the various Dr. Lights from across the multiverse, finally understanding how Pariah's tech connects him to the Great Darkness, but Monitor made her part of something too. She knows that something in her shines across the multiverse already, and not just in the 52 worlds, but the infinite ones as well. The light grows against the screaming darkness as the other heroes make their final stand against the infected Justice League incarnate. Dr. Light, now clad in a solid light armor, leaves the orrery, attacking Superman and breaking the darkness on him and the rest of the heroes. Later on, as the teams regroup and Captain Carrot apologizes for almost eating sideways, Dr. Light knows that they couldn't attack the darkness from the orrery, but she did learn how to fully embrace her powers. Robin tells the team that it's time to take the fight back to Earth, since they won't be able to get to the chains of the Dark Army like he thought. Calvin asks Mary Marvel if they should follow Robin, and Mary uses her wisdom of Solomon to tell Superman that given what they know about every Robin trained by every Batman, they should follow this Robin. Sideways, however, says he's running on fumes, and while he can open a rift for them, his targeting is off and he can't do the multivision anymore. Luckily, Dr. Multiverse is there to lend a hand with her own multivision powers, which allows her to see the various versions of all of the heroes. She finds Robin has a rather uniquely consistent path ahead of him, but it's not relevant right now as the team head back to Earth Zero to save all of space and time.